Hey guys, welcome back out to the shop. Today we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing of a new tool that I bought. And over the next few days here I'm going to do a review of this thing. Now, I've always wanted to own one of these, and I just really don't want to put out the big bucks just to make sure that I'm actually going to use it. So I went on to Amazon, did a little bit of research, found out, did some research on dual voltages, 110, 220, or just single voltage of 110 or 220, and decided that I would just go with 220 since that's what my welder is, that's what my air compressor is, and it's just easier for me to go that way, and I also think I get a little bit more power out of it as well. So there was an instant rebate on Amazon, and I picked up this little 220 volt plasma cutter. So we'll get to unboxing it here, and we'll have a look at it, see what it comes with. I kind of just did a sneak peek to see what color it was, because I own Lincoln tools, and well, I like red, and that was really about it. So I'll set this aside here real quick, and we'll throw all the parts up here on the table, and we'll see how this thing comes, what it comes with. So there's the main body of it. Pretty small little compact unit. Imagine that's all the goodies, and that's it. So get this thing out of the bag here. That's the unit there. Little digital display on it. I can't plug it in yet because there's different 220 plugs that a person can use. Not a great big cord, about 6 feet. Comes with a regulator and a little air dryer on the back. It's a nice little portable unit there. Now this is a Cut 45i is what they call this one. The Cut 45di is the dual voltage. This unit here, now everybody's going to want to know the price. It was cheap, super cheap, $199. There was an instant $15 off when I bought it, so all total with tax, shipping, and everything, it came out to $203 and change. So if it's a piece of crap, because it's from Amazon, I can just send it back. I'm not really out anything, so I'm happy with that. That's kind of the main reason why I went this route. So in the box, ground cable, looks to be about 8 feet, so I'm definitely going to have to put this on top of my welder and drag that over to where I'm working. Instructions, what are these for? I don't know if I've ever read instructions. Air hose looks like, oh, there's the plug there. I don't know that I've ever used that style. You can see that? Yeah, most of my stuff is just a standard kind of, almost like a dryer. One half round, one straight, one flat. I guess they use these because you put them in and turn them, and they positive lock. They might even be called that. A few little ends. Another cap with a few tips. Well, that's good. I'm sure I should go on, if this thing works, and purchase a whole bunch of new tips, because well, make sure we can still get the darn things. Now, because I don't want to destroy this, just in case I do send it back. I'm going to open this up as nicely as possible. I guess I'll hang it like that. So, I don't know exactly what this is called. On a MIG gun it's called a whip. I'm going to call it a whip. And you can chastise me down there in the comments, you know, down there where y'all say bad things. Yeah. Looks like about 12 feet. So, air, power, safety trigger. Alright, well that's the unit. So, I got a little bit of work to do. Got to put a plug on here, which I wasn't ready for. So I got to go to a hardware store tomorrow. Pick one of those up, and we'll set it up on the table. And we'll cut some 1/8 inch and some plate. And it says it'll cut 10 millimeter. We'll see. We'll try. I've got some 5/16 and some 1/4 inch, and I do believe I've got some 3/8 there. So, you know, 3/8 is about 11 mil, I believe, but whatever, it's fine. We'll try it. Most of my 3/8 I cut with the grinding disc, but I'm hoping that this will turn really cut down on my consumables when it comes to grinding discs, because I go through a pile of them. Anyways, we'll catch you at the next video. I guess it won't be a next video. We'll catch you at the next one, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay, so I got my plug on here. I got my air compressor hooked up here. I've got to move this over closer to my wall for right now, until I get a extension cord. Wow, had a hard time with that. Earlier I called this a whip. It dawned on me last night. It's actually a torch. So I'm going to move this over, turn the air on. There's not really much for settings on this, so I'll kind of see where the air is sitting at. Probably run it at about 50 psi, and probably about 3/4 to cut 1/4 inch plate. I got a chunk of 1/4 inch plate here, so we'll give it a go here, see what happens. Earplugs, face shield, and I'll find some gloves. Okay, so right, so I got this turned on. See if I can get you in there. So about 3/4, looks to be about 33 amps. I don't really have my air turned on yet, so I'll get that. Go slow here, and that looks to be set at about 70. That's about 60 when I pull the trigger. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright. So not a bad cut. I think I went too fast. This little piece here. A fair amount of slag on it, but you know, that's going to happen. It's going to happen with the torch. It's going to happen with the plasma cutter. That actually worked really, really well. Definitely need a straight edge on there. So I'm going to grab another piece, a little bit thicker piece, crank this thing up a little bit more, and see what it does. So this is a 5/16 piece. I've got a bit ground off, so I've got a good ground here. And I'm just going to take it, see if I can nip the end off of that. I'm going to leave the PSI at 60, and I turn my amperage up to 40. I think we're getting to the kind of to the end of how much this will cut. So let's see what happens. So I slowed way down there, took my time, and I think I got a pretty good cut. So I just nipped the corner of it, and it actually looks pretty good, nice and clean. So let's crank her up here and see if we can take a nip off this 3/8 piece. My compressor is probably going to kick in here right away, so I'm going to turn this all the way up. So obviously max on this is 45 because that's 45i. And I was seeing about a 8 psi drop there when I pulled the trigger, so I cranked this up to just about 80 on the regulator. So let's give it a shot, see what happens. Well, it'll do it, but that's a struggle for that thing. I just took a little bit off. I don't want to waste all my good plate. So, you know, it cut it. So I think I gotta have the torch kind of tipped into the direction of travel, so back against itself, and seems to work really good. Now it's 3 cuts, so we'll have to see how long this thing lasts, but I got a bunch of 1/4 inch I need to process. Maybe I'll do some sheet metal here, and we'll get back to you with an update in a few months. Alright, so it's been a month or so since I've owned this plasma cutter, and I've used it quite a bit. I've used it to cut the top out of my keg to make my new manky tank, just a water quench tank. I've cut out tongue blanks with it, the mount for my leg vise, a myriad of other sheet metal projects, and it works really good. I've had to flip over my electrode once. That was my fault. I think there was a little bit of frost on the bottom side of one of the pieces I was cutting. Weird. Okay. Stuff's fallen over on my bench. Must have mice. And I think it got water on it. So that's never a good thing when you get water on a plasma cutter. It shorts things out, and it's just, you know, not that you have a bad day, it just happens, and you got to change the electrode, or sometimes it blows out the cutting cap, but not this time. Just burnt the end off the electrode, so things were bad there. You got to run it fairly hot, 45i. So most of my stuff that I cut is anywhere between an 1/8 inch and a 1/4 inch, and so that requires basically running it at max. Now 60% duty cycle. You can run it for about 10 minutes, and then you got to shut her down. But you know what? I think for the amount of money that I spent on this thing, it was less than $200. Even fitting it up with a new plug. I did, however, lengthen the cord on it because the cord is very short. So that is annoying. I took it apart. I put a longer cord on it to match the 12-foot torch. And I think as a hobbyist, I'm going to get a lot of good use out of it. Is it a production machine? Absolutely not. 100%. If you're trying to do anything heavier than 1/4 inch with it, you're going to get some cuts in for sure, but you're going to burn it up pretty quick. So as far as for what I'm using it for, it works fantastic. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.